This is Nick Gibson, and he solved the biggest problem that every content creator or coach runs into: traffic.
There was a lot of people saying, validate your offer, try and figure it out. Just post it on LinkedIn, and you've already got 10,000 followers, right? Just put it to them, and someone will sign up. It's like, what do I do if I don't have that? And they didn't have an answer.
He doesn't leverage a massive audience or cold DMs 100,000 people a day. Instead, he runs simple, low-cost paid ads.
I think people tend to assume, I definitely did, that ads are super expensive, and they're not necessarily. It seems complicated, it seems scary, but once you get into it and figure out how it all works, it's not that hard.
So today, Nick's gonna show us how he used low-budget ads to test an idea, build a waitlist of ready-to-buy leads, and then turn it into a real business, and how you can follow his repeatable strategy to do the same.
Nick, I'm super excited to be with you today and be interviewing you because I remember when I was first starting out and I was so scared to get started with
Mm.
Meta ads or Google or this or that. And I kept thinking, I kept going over and over, like in my mind, oh, and asking my friends, what should I start? What angle should I go? And, I had no idea that the way that you really get moving isn't by asking your friends or your coach or your mastermind, but like just testing your idea, put it out, let the market tell you if it's a good idea or not. And then when I met you and we started talking about what you do, it was like, oh, helping people exactly just testing their ideas to see if the market wants it before
Yeah,
I even build it.
yeah.
So I am so excited to talk to you about that. And one of my first things I'm wondering is, how did you figure that out?
Yeah, well, it's great to be here with you as well. Yeah, interesting. I think the way I figured it out, I mean, I didn't just come up with that out of thin air. I've heard other people talk about it as well, of all like the sell before you build stuff. Uh, but yeah, it was a lot of people saying, validate your offer, try and figure it out. And it's like testing and going around your head and they're saying, put it to market and see what happens. But their version of that was, just post it on LinkedIn, and you've already got 10,000 followers, right? Just put it to them, and someone will sign up. It's like, no, I don't have that. What do I do if I don't have that? And they didn't have an answer. And the answer that
Uh,
became apparent was, well, you just pay to get 1,000 people to look at it and see what happens after that.
oh, yeah. Okay.
Because yeah, a lot of talk about just like share it with your audience.
Yeah. And so when you first started doing it, did you just start right away on Meta or was it something else?
So I did go into Meta as like a first thing, but it was trying to figure things out. It was back when I was doing it, when I first started Meta Ads, I was doing like a print on demand thing, and I didn't want to create content. I didn't want to show my face or any of that stuff. So things have changed since then. Uh, but yeah, I thought easiest way to get stuff out there is just to run ads, right? Someone told me about like building an email list, and I got this workshop that I went to, like a 4-day boot camp, and it was all just about running Meta Ads. Really, it seems complicated, it seems scary, and it kind of is. But once you get into it and figure out how it all works, it's not that hard. So yeah, I went into Meta Ads for that print on demand business. And then ever since that, everything else I've run ads for at one point or another to try and get things going.
Right. Um, that is, yeah. So, and I'm wondering, like, when you once you got going on it, uh, I guess you ran it all for yourself in the beginning, and then you decided is that it started working so well, you decided to turn it into a business?
Yeah, it all kind of followed the chain of what people wanted and needed. It was one of those things that like I was just doing it for myself for a long time, and then people were asking me for help, and it sort of the answer became apparent. For they were making the same mistakes that I were at the start, that I was, not that I were. uh, but it was the same sort of issues coming up, and it's like actually I have a solution for this. I know how to do it. So instead of trying to do all the back end stuff, because my other business that I was running is more about like AI and automation. And that was all further downstream. Like after you already have tons of leads and you need help automating the business, I can do that. And what everyone was saying to me is, well, I don't have leads, so how do I do that? It's the first block that they're struggling with. Uh, so yeah, sort of more into that. I already knew about it. I knew how to fix it. So yeah, it went in that direction.
Yeah, I know I've been in these masterminds and these different groups of like entrepreneurs. And one of the things they were talking about that made a ton of sense is fail fast. So you want to, if you have an idea, and oh, you know how sometimes we wake up with, I just have the best idea, and you start sharing it with people,
Mm.
and usually they'll, at least for me, 8 out of 10 will just be like, oh, that's stupid. And I'll be like, wait a minute, how do they know it's stupid? Because
Yeah.
how was their opinion better than mine? I've started multiple companies, and then in this group, I learned about this idea of, oh yeah, just test, test, fail,
Yeah.
fail, fail. That it was, and so you were the first one that I ran into that, like, you understand this, and that this concept, and you're set
Mm.
up to help people do it. I just think that's really cool. Um,
Yeah.
just to go back a little bit, can you tell me a little bit about maybe your history? Like, how did you get interested in this stuff?
Yeah. Sure. And it's interesting as well what you mentioned, where like you said, all these people say your idea is stupid. Usually, it's the other way around when you're talking to your friends and family about it, because they all love you and they're like, "Yes, this is a great idea. I'm sure it'll do well." And you're like, "Yeah, I'm making baskets for dogs," and they're like, "Yeah, fantastic. Love that for you." And you spend ages doing it, and no one wants it. Uh, but yeah, I think when I first started uh, in the entrepreneurial world, it was when I figured out that I'd be working till I was 70 to get enough to retire if I stayed in my 9 to 5 job. And I just thought, I have to do something else. I can't keep doing this. So started learning about business, started getting into it. Uh, yeah, I did the print on demand thing for a little while, but always looking for like a different angle on it, where instead of creating designs for t-shirts, I'd go to businesses, like local businesses, and say, hey, do you want merch set up for your bar or your cafe or whatever? And try and run it that way. Uh, and it all came down to that of like figuring out, learning what a lead magnet was and trying to run ads to those to get the leads. Because I was doing like cold email at the start without realizing that's illegal here in Australia. You're not allowed to do that. Uh, and yeah, from there, one thing sort of led to another. And I sort of moved more into, in my day job, I do like data analytics and automations. Like that's what I used to do. So really good with data, AI, all that stuff. Uh, and from that, I went into that sort of business, helping entrepreneurs automate their business and use AI, and ran ads to that as well, and sort of went further into the coaching space, working specifically with coaches. And yeah, it's just the ad side of things. It's interesting. It always appealed to me from like a scientific standpoint as well, uh, because a lot of the time people think that ads is all about the copy and the marketing, and that's true to a point, and the creative. But the fact is, you can kind of science your way to victory on it, which is just you test one thing against the other. And then the one that loses, you remove that and you add another one and you just keep doing it. And if you can keep doing that, and if you have an unlimited budget, you'll end up getting to something that will be high performing.
Right.
Uh,
And I was I was looking at I saw this I was at a seminar where someone was talking about the same concept, and they were saying that they were working at Facebook for years, and then they had their own agency, and they found that they didn't have to spend that much money to test an idea. Like, it could be 5 to 20 bucks that they could put out, and then they would change the copy a little bit and do 5 to 20 bucks and try that, and maybe try half a dozen things to see which one of those was the best. And then they're always tweaking, but it didn't take like thousands of dollars, which I thought was really interesting. Are you seeing the same thing?
Yeah, definitely. Especially when you're testing like little concepts, so like tiny little tweaks. So if you were testing like say a full offer, it might cost a bit more, but like 100 to see if you can get people interested. But when you're just testing the ad on its own, like if you're testing the headlines or hooks against each other, it doesn't take much to figure out that it's not working or that it is. I think they usually say probably about $20 or 72 hours. Like it's 1,000 impressions is sort of the benchmark there. So that's 1,000 views on the ad. And then based on are people clicking through, are people watching it all the way to the end, is where you'll figure out if it's working or not. And it depends on eyeballs cost different amount of money depending on uh, where they're at. Like B2B, it might cost you $40 to get to 1,000, whereas just direct to a customer, to a consumer, you know, sometimes 10, sometimes 20. But yeah, there's not a lot to it. There's not. I think people tend to assume, I definitely did, that ads are super expensive, and they're not necessarily. Uh, if you run them on LinkedIn, they are, but not on Meta. It's yeah, fairly cheap.
Oh, that's awesome. So thinking of like, if let's say someone wants to test an idea and they don't even have their community yet, they don't have a course, they don't have really anything except for an idea and a computer. And would you recommend that that would be where they start? Just start right there with the idea and before they start doing anything?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's actually for my coaching community that I created. That's what I did. Is I had an idea of a community and what it would do. So you need to have some sort of clarity in your head as to what it's going to be if it goes forward. So I've done it for that community. I did it for a quiz building workshop. And I was like, if I'm going to put this together, it'll be a 4-day workshop on how to build a quiz lead magnet using AI. And I knew how to do that, but I didn't write anything down. It's like, this is what it is. And have that clear in like a paragraph, what it's going to be about, which is your ad copy, who it's for, what it's about, the problem it solves, all that sort of good stuff. And that's all you need. It's just an idea that you can communicate clearly. Uh, and then turn that into an ad. Uh, and in that case, run it as a waitlist. So because you've got nothing to give them on the other end, right? They're opting in to join the waitlist for the thing if you then go on to build it. And when you get to like 30, 40 people on the waitlist, that's when you've got enough signal to say, yes, this is something worth building. The market wants it. And if you don't get to that, then you know it's not worth building and you can move on to something else, test a different idea or a different angle on the same thing.
What a great concept with the wait list. I know Rolex now, they anything they come out with, you can't even get it. You have to order and you have to go on the wait list and
Yeah.
they'll tell you like you have 12 months or whatever it is before it's going to be done. And then when it comes in, you have like 48 hours to buy it. You're like,
Yeah.
you better be ready. So
Yeah.
if not, they're selling it. And so I think some people might be worried about running an ad to a wait list, but it's actually beneficial. And so I think that's really cool that you do that with your program and you're coaching new people to test their idea and just go to a wait list. I
Yeah.
know I used to do that when I was flipping homes. I had two lists. I had a list of people that wanted. I would run ads and say if I have a house for sale, but way more people would call than I had houses. I just had one house. So
Yeah.
and then I would run other ads for people that were selling houses and I'd have this list, and they went on a wait list for both of them. I say, oh, that one just sold. I don't, and so then I end up having these two lists, and then as it got bigger and bigger, it came really fast when people would call. I would have a house for them, or the other way around, as a seller or a buyer. And
Mm.
it's just such a great concept, and I'm glad you're sharing that with the audience here so they can see that this is a real thing, a real way to test it.
Yeah, it's such a great tool as well because if you're not capturing that information, then the test itself is just to validate the idea. But it doubles as, all right, the idea is good, and here are 30 people who I can talk to about it straight away. You can even start conversations with them on Meta. There's a way to set the ads up to start a messaging conversation with them. Uh, but yeah, just the waitlist in general. If you utilize it properly, one of the things that I like to do with it is make it visible, not the not all the people on it, but the numbers. So when I ran that quiz building workshop, when it came time to launch and for people to actually sign up, it was free, but we had limited spots. It was, I don't want more than 15 people in this workshop. It's going to get too big. We had about 75 people on the wait list. And on the
Wow.
landing page, I put both of those numbers. So it was like at the top, you had your headline there of like, this is what it is. Then 75 on the wait list, 15 spots, and both would count down as people signed up. But it's just there, they can see it drives that urgency, that scarcity of, oh, there's a bunch of other people who want to do this. I better get in quickly. And the same with like the Rolex, like you mentioned,
Yeah.
is you've got 48 hours. We'll sell it to someone else if you don't buy it. Of course, people are going to buy it. You know,
Yeah. They've been waiting a year. It's like, all right. And, it's, I better get it.
yeah. Whereas if you're waiting a year and then it's just there to pick up whenever you want, to buy and pick up whenever you want. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. You've already been waiting a year. What does it matter? You can wait another year.
Yeah. So it's very interesting. Okay. So let me see. Oh, I did have a quick question because I just have this interest and I've been studying like people that are entrepreneurs and they get out there and they're willing to take a risk to start a business. Um, I'm wondering what was your parenting like, your childhood? Do you think your parents did anything that helped spur that on or encourage you in the entrepreneurial world?
Well, it's interesting because it's like a yes and no because they were always very security focused as far as like get a job, get something that's safe, um, that sort of thing. But at the same time, my dad was a business owner, so he left his sales job and started his own business, and like that never really clicked for me in my head. It's something I thought of after I started my own business. It's like, oh, actually, my dad did this too. uh, and it made it because it seems like a scary thing to start a business. It's like only the crazy rich people do that. It's you just got to get a job and you'll be safe and secure. And for me, I thought that a lot. It's like I'll just be safe and secure in a job. And it's like, oh, actually, someone I know did this and succeeded really well. So maybe I can do it too. Uh, but yeah, it's a strange thing that.
Think The thing that I like about business, I actually for me in my life, I started very young. I had my first business when I was around 21, and I see it as the beginning of my personal growth
Mm,
because everywhere I would get stuck in business, it's like you want to quit. When I mean stuck, it's like every time you want to quit, it's like, do I really want to quit or am I just afraid? Like, or does it look like
mm,
this is going to be too hard?
yeah.
And what I would find is the biggest thing that was a breakthrough for me is I got stuck and I got a coach. So I ended up I got stuck when I started this my first company and I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to. I was so nervous to get new customers. And so I thought I was just going to go out of business, but then I thought I didn't just make it up, but someone had mentioned, well, why don't you hire someone to train you in sales? And I was like,
Mm,
oh, yeah, I don't have to invent it all myself. And so I hired a coach, and within weeks, I had contracts and I had a business. And ever since then, I've had coaches, usually multiple coaches. Like I have
mm,
a workout coach. Right now, I have a diet coach. I have a coach for business and multiple coaches for business. And so I'm just wondering how, how about for you? Like, I know you're coaching people now. Have you ever had a coach, or how did that work for you?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, it was early on as well. It was when I was doing the print on demand thing, and I had no idea what I was doing. And really, it's more like she was a business coach and she was fantastic, but a lot of it was more like therapy. Really, it was just like I think the issue I had before I got into business and as I was going into it is the self doubt and thinking I have nothing to provide. You know, it's like I have no value to provide. Why would anyone want anything from me? I have no skills that are applicable to anything, which of course isn't true. You know, if you got a job, you've got skills. It might be difficult to try and figure out how to apply them in the business world, but you know, everyone has something to offer. But yeah, just having that like having someone to talk to about it who sort of got it and would question my own doubts and like me thinking, oh, no one wants to buy this, and she'd say, why is that true? And it's like, well, I don't know, I just think that. You know, I haven't tested it, I don't know. You know, it seems like it makes sense, but it doesn't, and I have these are all the reasons why. uh,
Yeah, I spent a lot of time in that space, and I was always thinking of other things while I was here. It's like where whatever I'm doing, I wanted to be somewhere else or doing something else, and uh, I'm not like that anymore. But I have a lot of training and like how our mind works, and so that's why I was saying what I was curious if you saw business as a personal growth journey as well, because and it sure looks like it because I do that a lot when I'm coaching someone. It's usually our mind and our thoughts that are
mm,
stopping us. It's not that our skill level is stopping us. We usually know what to do, but there's some thought saying, stop, right? And
yeah,
so I just thought, man, it was so great I just found that there's a coach for everything. It's like, oh, if you are thinking negative thoughts and you're getting stuck, there are coaches that just focus on that. It's just
yeah,
it's so great, and you can get through it in a month. It's not like you need this coach for years.
no, yeah, it's very very interesting, and it's so valuable as well. Even just to have someone to listen, you know, even if they're not that skilled necessarily in like the all the different like NLP or all the different coaching practices, just to have someone listen and be a sounding board and talk to, uh, without like, and having the focus on you as well, not getting into their own stuff, is because sometimes you have a conversation with a friend and it all like bounces around and they're they're trying to help, but they're thinking about their own stuff as well. And it's like, oh yeah, I have that problem too. Let's go into my problem. Whereas in a coaching relationship, they're very focused on just you and your issue, and their stuff is for them and their coach. You know?
Yeah, that's a good point. I noticed for me when I was running my company, the coach that I had. So I didn't want to share every idea with everyone on my team because I had a lot of ideas and I wanted to throw them at the wall and see what stuck. And it was so nice to have a coach because I could do all that. And then
Mm,
when I went back and shared the idea that seemed to make the most sense, I didn't look like a scatterbrain. So my team thought, oh, okay, he knows what he's doing. Whereas there for
yeah,
a while, I would just share all my ideas and everyone would look and be like, I don't think he knows what he's doing.
yeah. But yeah, it's very very interesting, and you're absolutely right that it's all like a personal development journey as well. Because there are a lot of, I guess, trials and tribulations, times that you want to quit, and I felt that a lot at the start. I still feel it a lot, but the difference is now I go, oh, it's just that feeling again. I'll feel it, you know, every day almost. And it's like, no, that just means it's hard. You just have to do it.
Yeah, and also I learned when I have that feeling of quitting, I'm like, oh, I'm really close to a breakthrough.
Hmm.
Yeah, because that's where they come. It's like, and this is where everyone else is going to quit. If I can make it through here, I just made it further than almost everyone else when they hit this.
Hmm. Yeah. It's like, oh, I found another problem. That's another problem that someone else is going to stop at. So it's like you keep going through because you're always going to find more problems. That's the nature of it. Um, and being able to solve those, or have come up with something for it, just means that everyone else who thought this was a great idea and like fell at the first hurdle, you're down at like hurdle number 10 or 11, and they've just stopped. They've given up. Um, yeah, it's it's very interesting
The
stuff.
other thing that I noticed with your business now compared to most people that are out there, I think it starts to work when you get it super simple. Like your whole idea right now, test with meta ads, test your idea before you spend all this money going in the wrong direction. That is so simple because you could make it super complex. It's like, yeah, let's you have so much experience with all these different things, all the AI automations and everything. And it's like, yeah, we can go down that direction, but it makes so much sense to just have here's a clean offer and we solve this problem. And I think that I just really like that when someone has that clean of a simple let's solve this problem. And maybe later, if they have run into another problem, you can help them in another direction. But if that's your main thing and you help people with that, I really like that. So I stopped a little bit early from just like the actual offer that you're going after now. So you're testing with meta ads for people. What is what is the offer that you have now?
Yeah, so the way that it works, it's interesting that you mentioned like saving money. The other thing that's critically important about it is saving time as well. And it sort of ties into everything I do. Even when I was doing the AI and automation, it's all about saving time. It's about making things faster. But what the testing really does is it saves you months and months and months of building something, ideating that maybe no one ever wants. It's getting that validation straight away before you do anything. Like within 72 hours, you can know, is this worth pursuing or not? Or do I need to make changes to it? So the way that it works basically is we just put together a couple of ads. So you get your idea. This is what I want to do. This is who it's for. We need to get clear on like the ideal client, who it's for, what it actually is, what problem it solves, and a bit of packaging stuff of like a bit of brand stuff, not too much, but what you want it to look like. And then put together a Facebook page if you don't have one, ad account, and then spend probably around, depending where it is, I'd say like 250 in ad spend to a wait list or to a lead magnet if you have something already, something where you can capture people's emails and start conversations with them. Uh, yeah, put that together, and within 48, 72 hours, you have validation there that the idea is good or that it's bad. Uh, and yeah, it compresses that timeline of spending months and months, thinking, is this good or not? It's like, let's just find out today if it's good or not.
Yeah. So basically someone can come in and I know you said 250 for ad spend, but there's managing it. So you can call it what was that? Is that around $500 to get the what do they call it? Retainer?
Yeah, so 500 is for the initial setup there. And then if it works, so like that's just the initial test. If it works and if you're happy with it, then it's 500 a month ongoing for me to manage that and keep testing, iterating. So from there, we turn it from like a test to, let's do the real thing. Let's start bringing in leads. Let's start talking to people. Let's start making sales. Because that first step is just let's see if it works. And then it's start building, continue bringing people in. And that, I guess it's always a test because you're always testing different creative, different copy, trying to find the one that works the best. But it's the offer's validated. Now let's get the marketing up and running. And that's 500 a month ongoing.
Right. But the thing that I like is someone let's say to test your idea, do I have a business here? Someone can come to you with like 750 bucks. They don't even have to have a computer,
Yeah.
uh, right? They can just say, "Here's my idea," and you're going to set up everything and
Yep.
test it and come back with, here's the leads. Do you want to call them back? And, like
Mm.
they could call them back if they want to.
Yeah.
And then they could go, oh man, this worked. I better put something together.
Yeah. And that's the thing as well when it comes to testing. Like a lot of people, you might go to a business coach or something with your idea and ask them, is this a good idea? And they might say yes, they might say no, they might say, I don't know. But with me, I might have some ideas about it, but really it's not up to me. It's not up to anyone except the market. So I might say, hey, yeah, it sounds good. I might say, hey, it sounds awful, but let's test it anyway. Uh, yeah, we might clarify things, but yeah, it's all about what the people think, not what I think, not what you think, not what anyone thinks individually. It's does the market actually want it or not? And there's a couple of layers to that as well. Mm.
Yeah. So I'm wondering, is there anything else that I'm missing that you would like people to know about what you do? Or, yeah, is there a question I didn't ask that you would like to clarify or talk about?
Um, I don't think so, not specifically. Uh, like we can get into deeper layers of retargeting and custom audience building and all of that, but that's further down the track. It's super useful tools within like how to run ads. And if you're already running ads, I recommend looking into them because targeting the people that are already following you is so much cheaper than just getting a cold audience. Uh,
Right. The main thing is bringing that up is people know that you know how to do that. So
yeah.
you're not only are you testing, but you're capturing the pixel and you're getting everything ready to, if they want to get going, they can
Mm,
work with you past the test.
yeah.
But most people don't talk about, hey, let me test your idea for you. They don't want to
Mm,
work with that, but that's where you are. You're like saying, let me help you test your idea and show you how you can get these affordable clients. And
yeah.
I know for me, getting early success is everything, because we all, our minds go crazy when we're not getting the success. We're not seeing either people sign up or money coming in, and we're like, it sounded like a really good idea like a month ago or 2 months ago, and it's not done yet. And it looks like it's going to take another 2 months. And I don't even know if anyone wants this. I mean, this can change someone's life, because they're all of a sudden they're going to go, I made these ads, 20 people called, and it looked like it's $5 to $10 per customer. I can totally make a business out of this. So uh, it's just, I think it can be like life changing for people that are struggling on, should I start a company or not?
Mm, absolutely. And I will say, like, all of my biggest successes that I've had have come from testing first. So I've spent so much time, horror stories of spending weeks and weeks building a workshop and then finally launching it. And I think two people showed up and they were already existing customers. So it was like, it was all for nothing. No one wanted it. I built out a 4 hour course on customer journey mapping, which is a great course, but no one wants to map out their customer journey. So it wasn't a great lead magnet, even though it was a big free course. Uh, and in both of those instances, if I had run ads first to see does anyone actually want this, I wouldn't have spent all that time building them. So it's like, that's months that I've lost. I could have brought that time, further forward. And I'm sure everyone that's listening to this now, watching it, probably has something like that where they can think, oh, I've built this whole thing and then I went to do it and no one wanted it. Uh, and you can avoid having that ever again just by making sure that people want it before you build it. And yeah, I think historically I found it hard to, before I figured out ads, it was hard to figure out how to tell. It was that sort of thing of like talking to your friends, asking ChatGPT, do people like this? Uh, but yeah, getting that pure market feedback is incredibly useful. And it does make you feel good as well when you get one.
Yeah, the AI models out there, they all think that you're so intelligent. Oh yeah, that's a great idea.
Mm-hmm.
you know, for these reasons. And after a while, it's like, every idea I'm putting in here, I must be a genius.
Yeah. Yeah. It's an absolute yes man. You've got to the trick to that, because I use AI a lot, is get it to be tell it to be brutally honest with you. And also anytime it says this is a great idea, then just say, all right, now what are all the reasons it's a terrible idea? And just get it to bounce that back. Yeah. Or don't tell it that it's your idea. Just say, here's an idea. What are the pros and cons? Try and be as neutral as possible. It will still lean towards saying, yes, it's good. But yeah, it's funny sometimes. It can lead you down the garden path a bit.
I saw this article a psychiatrist was writing. There's actually a thing now where people are getting like these delusions of grandeur, or where they just think, oh, I was my idea for how to split the atom in a different way is, it's going to change the world. Chat gpt told me that my thing is really great, and it wrote this formula to summarize what I was talking about, and it's an actual thing. Like, people are actually like starting to go, wow, I'm a genius, my idea is crazy good.
Hmm. I do wonder if they'll rein it in a bit, or if they'll just let it keep going like that, where it'll start being a bit, because you don't want it to tell people that they're idiots, right?
Yeah, because then they're going to go to the next model. Let's go to the one that likes me.
And that's the thing, is I'm really, what everyone wants is to hear that they're right. You know, in a sense, like, not everyone, but a lot of people would just rather be validated than find the actual truth. Um,
Right.
and yeah, it's everyone. I think it's a spectrum. Everyone's like that a little bit. There's times when you want it, but if you want to find the actual truth, that's market testing is the way to do it.
I'm curious um, with your group and the people that you've been training over time. Is there a success that you'd like to share? Uh,
Uh, let's see. I mean, for the most part, as far as the ads are concerned, it's kind of a new angle. Uh, had a lot of success working with people who we were using AI to create their ideal client, like a version of that they could communicate with and test their messaging, that sort of thing. It had a couple of really good testimonials from that. But I'd say like the biggest success that I've had with the ads has mainly been my own. Uh, and the big one there was the Aim for B Plus, the coaching community, where the comments that I got on those ads, which were written with AI using that ideal client, was just, it feels like you're reading my mind. Like, no one's ever put it this way before. That's like exactly what I'm feeling. It was for like a coaching business for men who feel really stuck, and sort of where I was 5 years ago. Uh, but yeah, I got so many people interested in that. It's a shame I couldn't keep going with it. It just sort of, it got a bit too heavy for me, and I didn't want to fall back down into that pit. So I had to move on and let it go. Leave that up to people who are more, I guess, qualified or like in tune that way than I am. Uh,
yeah, maybe some coaches will hear this, that they specialize in that, and they'll be like,
yeah,
yeah, let me talk to Nick, because you really did. You got some traction on that, and then you
mm,
started coaching, and you were like, that isn't the kind of coaching that I want to do. So you
yeah,
pivoted, but you found out how to get those clients. So if
yeah,
anyone's listening and they want those kind of clients, Nick's your guy.
yeah. We can probably copy paste the ads I wrote.
Yeah.
They worked to bring people in. I just don't know how to service them. So
Yeah. So, okay, well, I think that's pretty much your story and your I mean, I feel like I understand what you're offering. The thing I love about it, it's just so simple.
mm,
And then we kind of share your whole background of all the different stuff you've done with computers to get to this simple solution of everybody starting a business should start right here before they do anything else. I
yeah,
know for me personally, whenever I'm working with someone that is starting a new thing that I want to connect them with you first so that they can flush it out. And then when they come to me to work out the whole business plan and strategy, they know that there's a market, and they can, as soon as they have their concept worked out, and if they have any of the mind stuff, they get some stuck, I can help get through that. But you're gonna, until that happens, until your thing happens, there
Yeah.
nothing should happen, right? It's like, let's prove this out. I just love that you're doing that. It's going to help so many people.
Mm. And I think that simplicity is key as well. It's what I'd encourage everyone who's looking to test an idea is make it a simple idea. You know, it's like one problem for one person. Because if we don't have that clarity, like when you come to me, if you don't have that clarity of like who it's for and what problem it's gonna solve, it's gonna be really hard to run ads. You know, even if your idea is good, a bad message, like or an unclear message of what it's about, isn't gonna get the traction you want. So it might not be the idea that's the problem if it doesn't, catch on. And that's sort of what I do as well, is help clarify it and get it into a clear message, rather than just like taking this and running ads yourself. Uh, yeah, putting it together in a way that it really communicates the value and what it's about, so that at least if people don't like it, it's not that they don't understand it, because that can be a pitfall as well, thinking that an idea is bad because it hasn't been communicated properly.
Right. Yeah. And I had that mistake too when I was starting out. I would I didn't want to I didn't want to say what it was because it seemed so simple.
Hmm.
And it's like, no, I gotta jazz it up a little bit. I can even remember when I first started coaching, I didn't want to tell anyone I was a life coach. It's like, that sounds weird. I don't want anyone to even know.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
the funny thing is, uh, after I tried to say I did all these different things and solved these different problems, uh, and I came okay with, I got rid of that, and I came into coaching and solving problems, the certain problems that I was solving. Uh, it was just so, my message was so clear that it ended up being that that's how I started getting traction. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
I was avoiding the simple message for so long.
Hmm. Yeah. No, it's the sort of thing I know in the past, my wife has said to me, I can't even explain to my friends what you do. Now it's I help people run ads to validate their business idea. Easy. you know, it's
Yeah, that is so great. I love
yeah.
it. Well, I think we'll go ahead and end it here. Man, uh, I'm super excited to get this out and have people see it, because if they resonate with you and what you've talked about here,
Hmm.
where can they reach you?
Well, honestly, the best way to reach me now is through you, I think, because I'm still putting together the actual landing page and everything, because I'm testing this idea as well. Uh, but yeah, it's ready, but it's not ready. So yeah, I think the best thing to do if you're watching this, get in touch with Mike, probably on School if that's where you're watching this, or you can find him. You can find him from here, and he'll put you in touch with me, and we'll get something set up.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, Nick, it's been a pleasure, and I guess we'll call it a day. And
Yeah, thank you so much.